Good morning, everyone. Coming to the end of this marvelous week together, let us first return to great trust, the importance of great confidence, faith, trust. As mentioned before, not blind belief, but a growing trust based on your actual experience. That experience may not be complete, but there is some experience that you have. And this is what we work with, not with our hopes and dreams or something we learned from a book or from another, but through our own experience. Naturally, this great trust grows in the practice. Finally, what can hold you back? What can hinder you in this practice? I trust you are coming to see that far from being abstract, there is nothing more real, more concrete than being without self. That is, being without a thing. From now, the question naturally becomes how to bring that to life in this world with and for others who are also not a thing, who are also without self. Let us return to the beginning so that we may end well. The physical posture is very important. If you get the body, the physical posture of Zazen correct, again, for your body, the practice goes quite smoothly. If you are fighting with your body, we all know what happens then. The practice becomes hell. The breath is the best way to settle the body. First, you want to check that you are erect. The back is naturally straight, but not too tense or tight. Naturally erect. Again, that is why this full lotus posture is so valuable, because it opens up the hips and it helps you to be able to breathe properly from here. If you cannot do that, half lotus is fine too, or Burmese or seiza, sitting on a seiza bench or on a chair, but again, not leaning against the back of the chair. The hands have already been explained. The more formal posture like this against the belly. But you can also just take the thumb of one hand and gently wrap the fingers around it like this. This is another less formal posture. This is the formal posture of Zazen. This is the less formal posture. This is also fine. Again, wrapping your fingers around the one thumb and just resting. The eyes half open, but just naturally the focus falls down a few feet in front of you. You are not looking at or for anything, and yet you are not closing off the visual field either. The senses are open completely. Even though the eyes are only half open, they are available. If someone walks by, you can see that. But we are not looking for, seeking out anything. So our eyes just naturally fall a few feet in front of us. And that's all. You don't have to do anything. This can take some time to get used to, because we are used to having the eyes open, looking around, or closed. This half open. It takes some time to get used to it. But you will see when you are not focusing on anything with the eyes, they will naturally do that. It is the natural way for the eyes to be disengaged and yet still there. Focusing. The same with the ears. We're not listening for the bird song or the motorcycle or the guy swallowing next to us, as was mentioned yesterday, I think. Huh? No, we are just sitting there and letting the ears function. If a sound comes, we hear it. But we don't do anything with it. We don't make a story about how quiet or how loud and so on and so forth. All of the senses are open and functioning, but we are not seeking anything through them, nor are we escaping from anything either. So this is the basic physical posture, and we might say the mental attitude. The breath is so helpful to bring all of this naturally together. When I do this, I am exaggerating. You don't have to breathe like this. I'm exaggerating to make the point, to make it easier to see, okay? So not forcing it, but just letting all of the breath go. And when it's done, we naturally breathe back in. It becomes rather rhythmic. It becomes also slower and longer and deeper. With time, if you try to rush it, it will have the opposite effect. So take your time, be settled, and just let the breath come and go, and don't separate from it. Don't go into your head. Let the focus naturally go with the breath, not the thought of the breath, but the embodied breath itself. This is very helpful in bringing mind and body together and to bring that concentration to bear. What then do we concentrate on? In the beginning, the breath is the best thing because it's not a thought or an idea. It's always already there. So there's no sense of needing to get there. We don't have to obsess about making it really, really deep. No, just being one with the breath and allowing the practice to grow from there. That concentration comes to be solid. It comes to be total and constant, and in a sense, totally pliable. It can turn to whatever is needed, and yet it's also solid. It doesn't waver. It doesn't waver. If you are working on a koan, the koan comes to be that concentration. The one who is concentrating, what is being concentrated on, are not separate. They come to be one, not just something we think about in our head. Again, the breath itself is enough. We don't need to have some koan. The breath itself will do. The sitting itself will do even. The pain itself will do. If you're sitting and there's pain in your knee, that's what's there at that moment. No need to try and push it away. We certainly don't want to increase the pain either. But if you are feeling pain now in your knee, be there with it. That's it. That's it. Don't turn it into a thing. Let it be what it is. Let it be what it is. You may have extremely pleasurable, ecstatic experiences as well. Okay. Recognize it. Fully taste it. What is it really? But you don't have to turn it into something. Just let it be what it is. Sitting all the way through like this. And again, it's not limited just to the seated posture. That gets up and does what needs to be done. Until what? Until there is not one trace. Until not one trace remains. I ask you once again, what can hold you back? What can hinder you? What is it that really gets in the way of your practice? I trust you have seen many of the questions this week were helpful because what they really showed was where that person was stuck. Where they were stuck, where they had made a mental construct, where they were abiding, where they were maintaining a mental construct. And so they run into a wall. Well, there's this, but then there's that. Or I feel this way, but maybe I should feel that way. So most of the questions that come out of the struggling Zazen practice are really the mind coming up against itself, banging against the wall of itself. In other words, mind is arising and it's abiding somewhere. It's getting stuck somewhere. That's not a bad thing. It can be a very helpful thing if you are able to recognize, to open up, to see, what am I sticking to? Where am I stuck? What is holding me back? What is really hindering me? Aha. It's not the weather. It's not the person next to me. It's not my past even. It's the present mental construct, the attitude of my mind right now. Nothing more, nothing less. And it is up to you whether you want to spend the rest of your life going around and around in those mental constructs, or to let them go. Here is the point of patiently, compassionately polishing that mirror. When one particle of dust collects on it, what is that really? What is that really? Does it really hinder the practice? Again, I ask you, what can really hold you back? What can really hinder your practice? I don't see a single thing. Do you? Please keep that single eye open. And if something does arise, there is where you need to apply yourself in the practice. There is your precious teacher of the moment. I want to thank you all for being here for this week, and especially Mikhail, who was patiently in the one-on-one room, taking care of things and being there for all of us. And Bernhard, Mikhail and Bernhard have been arranging this retreat for some months now, as a physical retreat, and then trying to figure out the best way to do it. And finally, with the help of those at the Domicilium, we've been able to do a physical, actual retreat, following the necessary requirements today, keeping a certain distance, wearing masks, and so on. But you have been able to do a week-long retreat under those conditions. It's a wonderful thing, a wonderful achievement, if I call it that. Now it is time to take the next step, and cleaning up well at the Domicilium, then carefully, safely getting back home and picking up your life there, your work, your family, your responsibilities, whatever it may be, with the same devotion and patience that you have had here for the past week. I trust you will see that the real dojo is at least as much out there in the world with our challenges and difficulties than it is sitting here on our butt in the Zendo. It has been wonderful to share this practice with you. Thank you all.